This is Blue Collar Millionaire, Blue Collar Grind, Millionaire Mind. If it's your first time here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, share the content so we can continue to grow. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. Yes, this is the very beginning of this journey. I'm glad you caught me when you did. But this is part 2 to my reaction video to actual fandom. Did I do a racism against the Rippaverse? And if you want to watch part 1 of this reaction, it'll be in the description for you to check out so you can get the full picture of what's going on. I didn't want to make the video too long, so we're going to try not to make this part 2 too long. But to answer the question posed in the video, did he do a racism against the Rippaverse? No. Actual fandom, as a white content creator criticizing a black content creator, you did not do a racism by mere criticism. Mere criticism is not racism. So anybody that's going to say that it is just because, they're fucking dumb. All right. It's not racism just because you criticize them and y'all are not the same skin color. All right. It would be the nature of the criticism. And then if one could detect some underlying hatred in there, I think there are more prejudiced people than racist people, because prejudice is lighter. Prejudice is prejudging another race just based off, I guess, stereotypes and things that you believe to be true that may not necessarily be true. But I don't think there are as many racists in the world as liberals make it out to be. However, just looking at the one video of actual fandom that I looked at, he don't appear to be a racist to me. He's just a liberal. And I'm going show you. And by the way, the fans of Rippa who have called him a racist for criticizing Rippa, if you're going to call somebody a racist, you probably should substantiate the claim. And I don't see, and again, I haven't watched more of his videos, so if he's a racist, I wouldn't know, but I don't see nothing from the one that I did watch. But don't call somebody a racist just cause, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I can kind of understand where he's coming from. He said, don't become what you hate about your enemies. Because one thing that we as conservatives, really detest is all these ists and isms being thrown out at people. You're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're racist. Yeah, the isms and the obics. You're all of these different things because you disagree. So I'm not gonna call actual fandom a racist just because I disagree with them. And that's what happens a lot of times when it comes to liberals versus conservatives. Like, because we don't agree with different points of view and positions that liberals hold to be true, we're automatically in their eyes we're racist and all this other stuff, which is why a lot of these terms don't have no meaning anymore, because they've just been slung at people just for disagreeing. So you know, it's dumb. It's dumb. But I will call actual fandom a flaming liberal. I will call him that. And the proof of that is, if you look at the descriptions of his videos, the top 2 links that I've seen, just checking maybe 2 or 3 videos, just looking at the description to see if it's recent or not, is donate to abortion fund and donate to protect LGBTQ youth. That will make him a flaming liberal. As a conservative, I do not agree with abortion. As a conservative, I think the concept of LGBTQ youth is mostly preposterous. I do believe that such a thing exists now, but I do believe the growing percentage of LGBT mafia, LGHDTV, alphabet mafia youth is pretty much because the culture is forcing it down people's throats, and youth are impressionable. And so to have everything in the culture pretty much forcing it down their throats, yeah, the impressionable youth are they're falling for the trap. But that will make him a flaming liberal, because these are, I guess, 2 of the most important things he feels that he needs to support and he wants his audience to support. And so obviously right off the bat, fans of Rippaverse generally are not going to agree with you, especially if we agree with Rippa's political ideology, which I myself am also a libertarian. So yeah, off the rip, like, we don't fucks with you like that. But that don't mean we gotta hate you, and that don't mean that you're a racist. But you are a flaming liberal, and so that is what it is. Now, actual fandom, like so many other people have said that that ISO #1 is a crowdfund. The Rippaverse and this project is not a crowdfund. A Ripper can say it 1,000 times. I don't think people are ever going to pay that close attention, especially not liberals. It's too easy to just put it in the crowdfund category. This is not a crowdfund. Ripper funded this project with his own money up front, 200 racks. He's been transparent about the whole process. If you've been watching from the beginning, he funded it with his own money. So the books have already been produced. Like, he paid the artist, he was the writer, and he paid the printers. So basically what he did was he waited for a clear-cut window where he could time the pre-sale campaign to where he be able to know exactly when he was going to start shipping. And so he did that. Shipping is in August. The pre-sale campaign was midway through July. So everything that you see on the ISO #1 campaign, all those numbers that you see, those numbers are sales, pre-sales to be exact, because the book has not come out yet, has not been released yet, but the book has been produced. The book is finished. None of this money is being used to make book #1 that we purchased. So gotta clear that up. Probably gonna be clearing that up for a long time with future Ripper projects until people get the fact that he's not crowdfunding. And that's the reason why he built his own infrastructure from the ground up to have it on his website versus doing it through somebody else's site. Number one, why use Indiegogo or a similar platform when it's not a crowdfund? Number two, why be on somebody else's platform when they control the money? And also they control your presence on the site. So you can be canceled. And liberals, are not familiar with the receiving end of cancel culture. But anybody who holds views that are not in agreement with mainline liberal acceptance, we can easily be canceled. I mean, I don't know if I would call, I can't tell if Dave Chappelle is a conservative or a liberal or not. But I can tell that he don't agree with everything that liberals are pushing. And because of that, they tried to cancel him. The Alphabet Mafia tried to cancel him because he made jokes about the trans community. So they can't handle criticism. They can't handle jokes. And so because of that, they tried to literally see the thing about cancel culture that needs to be spoken of more seriously is that cancel culture is not just, oh, we make you unpopular, we ruin your reputation. No, it's about destroying somebody's livelihood. See, y'all can act all day like y'all love people so much and y'all love children and all this other shit, but when you destroy somebody's livelihood, if that person has a family, now you done took food out of that person's family's mouths, but you don't care because you disagree with that person politically. Like, that's some heinous shit. That's some evil shit. That's some wicked, twisted shit. For you to want to destroy somebody's ability to make a living. And so we as conservatives, we understand, we've seen people get canceled. Gina Carano got canceled. She got fired because she said something that liberal mainstream entertainment and culture did not agree with, and so she got fired. She got fired for having a statement, for exercising her free speech. They got rid of her job. So that's something that we as conservatives, like, if we want to be, and we going into that millionaire mindset. If you want to be intelligent, wise in doing business, then you should do like Ripper did and build an infrastructure from the ground up that you cannot be canceled by woke culture, that they can hate on you and flail all they want. They can criticize. They can do whatever they want, but you got such a rock solid infrastructure that you're going to continue to make your living despite the haters, and the haters are actually going to bring you in more money because they're going to bring you more attention by being so adamant about speaking against you over and over again. They're going to make you people aware of you that were not aware of you. So we can applaud the haters in that case and monetize your haters, but don't go in blind. Don't go in like a fool. Do not put yourself in a position that these psychos can cancel you, that these psychos can take away your living. If you worked hard to make a living, then protect the living from the get-go. Don't be a fool. So Actual Fandom says that Rippa is selling conservative victimhood, which he says is what Daily Wire does and other people do, right? And that being, non-woke, here's our alternative. Mainstream comics are woke, SJW, etc., etc. And here's our alternative. So the thing about it, he calls this a marketing gimmick. It's not a marketing gimmick, bro. Basically, if a creator lets his audience know, I'm not going to feed you woke content that is targeting an actual audience. That's how you do business. You identify your target audience. If you are conservative and you know that a good chunk of your audience is going to be conservative, then you target conservatives appropriately. And one way to appeal to conservatives right now, it's not a gimmick, it's actually knowing your market. One way to appeal to conservatives right now is to let them know, hey, my content is not going to be woke. I'm not going to feed you with this alphabet mafia shit. I'm not going to be on any of that woke shit. I'm not going to first force diversity just for the sake of diversity. I'm not going to be shallow like that. I'm actually going to give you good content that that you can feel good about, that your family can feel good about, that actually cares about your values. That's how you target an audience. So it's not a marketing gimmick. It's not selling conservative victimhood. Let's talk about victimhood for a second. Oh man, I'm glad you went there. Let's talk about victimhood. The liberal mentality is a victimhood hierarchy. And I mentioned this in another video. But the people who have the most notches of victimhood on their belt are on the top of the liberal victimhood hierarchy. So at the very top, you would have minorities who are alphabet mafia, who have mental issues and deficiencies, and probably who have been abused in some way. That will put you at the top of the victimhood hierarchy. And see, the way y'all liberals eat each other is pretty much, if you got somebody who is lower down on the victim hierarchy and they are preaching the victimhood and saying such and such and such, if you get somebody that's higher on the victim hierarchy, they're going to tell them you don't have a right to speak on this because you haven't blah, 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 blah. And there you go. Let's assert the victimhood. So the more victim cards you can pull, the higher the power you can gain in liberal culture, mainstream woke culture. Shoot, I forgot, if you add disabled to it, you go up higher. Like each piece of victimhood that you can have on your belt, it's like a victimhood championship belt. You gonna have, if the more of them belts that you have, the more powerful you can become in the liberal victimhood hierarchy if you assert your victimhood, because they love victimhood. They love a lot. They love pushing people into becoming victims, or at the very least pushing people into identifying most with their victimhood. And some of the victimhood is totally fucking made up. Like specifically the alphabet mafia victimhood, the majority of that shit is made the fuck up. Now, are there alphabet people who have been beat up, violence committed on them simply for being their identified or simply being their sexual identity that they have chosen. Yeah, there have been some people who've had violence committed, but that's not the only group of people that violence has been committed on them. But what I mean that most of their victimhood is made up, they continue to pretend like they are the most victimized group in this country. No, the fuck they are not. They have so much privilege and power, it's fucking asinine. But in their position of privilege and power, they continue to assert that they are the most victimized group, and that gives them more power, because again, in the victimhood hierarchy, if you can assert your victimhood, you become more powerful. So we talking about selling victimhood, like fuck. Liberals make a great living selling victimhood. I mean, shit, if you run for office and you have like a 10 different victimhood championship belts and victim cards that you can pull, I mean, you're going to be able to rally quite the audience because you're a victim, and liberals, they y'all just identify with victimhood. What conservatives are selling is not conservative victimhood. Conservatives are selling the fact that in reality, because we don't operate in this alternate reality, this fake shit that y'all operate in, this fake idea of the world. We operate in the reality that mainstream culture is woke. It has gone woke. Mainstream culture is dominated by liberals, point blank, period. Mainstream news is dominated by liberal points of view. Mainstream entertainment is dominated by liberal points of view. And when I say dominated, I don't just mean that, all right, the companies are liberal and they have a woke stance and they stand up for liberal whatever liberal causes or social justice causes, they stand up for that shit. But also, if you happen to work in any of these institutions and you speak out publicly in opposition to any of these woke stances, then they will have your head. You will no longer have a job. So that's what I mean when I say that the liberal ideologies dominate mainstream culture. That's what I mean. It's not acceptable, because think about it. It's not acceptable. If you're a movie star, it's not acceptable to say, I believe in God and I don't believe in abortion and I don't believe in the alphabet lifestyle. Yeah, they're gonna make sure that your movie career run dry. They're gonna make sure you can't get no more blockbuster roles. You could have been the most beloved actor or actress for the past 20 years. You could have 2-3 Oscars to your name. They're gonna make sure that you stop getting them big budget roles. And the only way you're gonna continue to get any is if a director or a producer or a movie company is also conservative, and they are not gonna they will still hire you and put you to work because they don't have a problem with the fact that you expressed a conservative view. But if you look at popular culture and understand that it's not okay, that it's not permissible, that it's not politically correct to take a stance that's against mainstream accepted liberal ideology, then right there it tells you that liberal ideology dominates popular culture. It dominates culture, entertainment, news, all of that. All right. It's not to say that there are not alternatives, that there isn't right-wing news, that there aren't right-wing content companies, websites, influencers. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying mainstream culture, pop culture, the biggest movie studios, some of the biggest news companies, some of the biggest, like all of this dominated by liberal ideology. Disney is one of the biggest entities in the fucking world, and they are definitely woke. If you want to sit here and pretend like they not, you a fucking fool. Ain't no argument to be had. So conservatives are not selling conservative victimhood. We're selling the fact that, hey, we understand that if you're a conservative like I am, let me just do a infomercial PSA, however you want to say it. As a conservative, we understand that if you're a conservative and you don't want your children to be exposed to all this fuckery, well, we have the alternative for you. We create content to appeal to your values. So we're not going to stomp on your conservative values or your Christian values and beliefs. This is the way that we are going to make our content, because we respect you, the conservative customer. And we understand how hard it is for you to find content that doesn't shit on everything you believe in, because mainstream culture is woke as fuck, and you aren't woke as fuck, and you have no desire to engage with these companies. You don't want to spend money on them. You don't want your children exposed to the shit that they're trying to put out there. So we have created content to specifically appeal to you, and that's how we do it. We believe we're traditional. We know you're traditional, so we're going to make traditional content. That's it. It's not a marketing gimmick. It's literally speaking to your audience. Every smart company speaks to their audience in a way to appeal to the audience. And the problem with these fucking woke companies is that they are no longer speaking to their audience as a whole. They're only speaking to the liberal side of the audience. So by doing so, they have basically told the conservative side of the audience, hey, fuck you guys. And that's what it is. So that's why there are content creators going the other way and creating content for people who not on that shit. Again, this shit is not a marketing gimmick, bro. I don't know what your idea of a gimmick is. Like it doesn't have substance, or it's just a fake or cheap way to sell something. This ain't fake. It ain't cheap. It's literally going direct to. When you market to people, you understand the psychology of your demographics and psychographics. You understand who you're selling to, what they value, what they want, and you give them what they want. So it looks like we're going to have a part 3. Part 2, this is the end. Actual fandom. Did I do a racism against the Rippaverse? Stay tuned for part 3 of this series. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Blue Collar Millionaire, Blue Collar Grind, Millionaire Mind.